Alright guys, in today's video we are going to talk about something that comes up a lot. A lot of guys will message me and say, where can I find the most beautiful Filipinas? Well, we're going to talk all about that in today's video. Alright, so first off, the most beautiful Filipinas, it's always going to be subjective, right? I mean, for me, my wife is, and she's here in Negros. So for other people, they found their girlfriend maybe in Manila or other places. So it's all subjective. And if you ask me, where can you find a beautiful Filipina? I tell people this all the time. Blindfold yourself, throw a dart at the map of the Philippines, and there are beautiful Filipinas in that area. I mean, there's just a lot in the country. That's just the way it is. But overwhelmingly, and I had my own opinion on this when I was single, I used to find the women in the southern Mindanao area, like the Zamboanga del Sur area, very attractive. And a lot of expats will tell me the same thing. Goes, hey, I'm talking to this girl. She's in Zamboanga. And that's all fine and dandy. But the problem is where it's located. And so really you have three options for this area. Now, before we get into that, that Zamboanga area has a heavy Spanish influence, so much to the point that they actually speak the dialect in the Philippines here called Chavacano, which if you can speak Spanish, you can basically speak Chavacano. It's almost the exact same. They have, I guess, more of a heavy Spanish influence, maybe kind of giving them a bit of a different look than other Filipinos. And a lot, I guess, will find that more attractive than other areas where they might look maybe more indigenous or maybe more Asian with Chinese mixture and other combinations. Anyway, before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a look at the map of the Philippines in the state warnings, because recently we had a kidnapping of a gentleman named Elliot Eastman. Search is still going. They had found a body that washed up that they thought might be him, but apparently not. They say the latest update is that they have some leads and they're pursuing it, so we'll see. The latest I heard is he had 2 gunshot wounds to the leg before they pulled him out onto the boat. Now, I won't speculate or anything, but that's pretty serious. And would he even be able to get medical help, where they're taking him? Chances probably not. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the State Department warning and also the map, okay? By the way, guys, pick yourself up one of these Ridge wallets. These Ridge wallets are great front pocket security wallets that you can hold a few of your cards and some cash just for going out for your daily adventure. And you don't need to dump all your cards and identifications in it. One debit card or one credit card, one ID, and some cash, and you're good to go. And it's RFID blocking as well. And this thing is made out of carbon metal, so check it out. You'll see the pictures down below. Click on it and you can go check one out. I would pick one up. They are excellent to have when traveling or here in the Philippines. Just a small front pocket wallet with just your bare essentials that you need for the day. Back to the video. So first off, if we take a look at the map, I just kind of want to show you areas that I have been to personally. Okay, so Mindanao, I want to go over a little bit of Mindanao here. Now, this is the area that you really should stay out of, this Zamboanga city and down into the Sulu archipelago. And also in this area here, you have Cotabato and the General Santos area. Not supposed to go really in that area as well. Near Cagayan de Oro, there's Marari up here. You should stay away from that area as well. By the way, here is Dumaguete City, and you can take a 3-hour boat ride across, land right over here in Dapitan, which is right next door to Dipolog City, one of my favorite little cities in the Philippines. Beautiful boardwalk, a lot of great nature, quiet, clean little town. Would I say it's safe? I would say it is safe, but years ago, even while I was residing here, an ex priest, he's an Italian guy, owned a restaurant, was kidnapped and eventually let go about 6 months later when the Italian government, or the Vatican possibly, that's what he says, paid the ransom. Very rare case that he was actually let go. So another thing I want to mention also is I spent most of my time living in Davao City. I also went over here and lived in Cagayan de Oro. And I took that drive all the way over through Bukidnon, which is a beautiful area, Malaybalay, Valencia. Ended up driving all the way down into Dipolog and took a ferry across to Dumaguete. When the typhoon hit, I think it was in December 2020, I was in Cebu. I took a ferry over to the coast here in Mindanao. Can't remember the exact town. I can't even remember. But it took me through Butuan City, and I drove straight on Christmas Day, about 6 hours, I think, over to Davao. And I have been pretty much everywhere throughout Mindanao, except for the area where I really shouldn't be. And I was in this area that I probably shouldn't have been, Cotabato, General Santos area, but I never ever felt threatened or anything. It was a good experience, but this area you got to stay out of. So that is the map, and you can tell it is there's the do not travel areas right over here, along with Marari City, and the rest is actually reconsider travel contains areas with higher security risk, and that's the rest of Mindanao. So you have to be the judge on whether you would want to make a trip to Mindanao or not. Next up, we have the State Department warnings. This is as of May 2024. I think it'll probably update again, especially with the recent kidnapping. Number 4, do not travel. And so the do not travel list is the Sulu Archipelago, including the Sulu Sea due to crime, terrorism, civil unrest, and kidnapping, Marari City and Mindanao due to terrorism. The reconsider are all the other areas of Mindanao due to crime, terrorism, civil unrest, and kidnapping. So that's basically what the current situation is with the State Department. This leads me back to the fact about where a lot of the beautiful Filipinas are. So a lot of guys will get online. These girls don't see a lot of foreigners, so for them to meet a foreigner is much harder. Often what happens, you really have 3 options. If you are chatting with a girl and she lives in Zamboanga City, for example, you have 3 options. 1, you can fly in and spend some time with her and then get out. And I'll be honest, most of these things like kidnappings and stuff are people that they've observed for a while. Okay, they know that this person lives here at this location. He frequents here all the time. During these hours, he's usually alone. They kind of figure out their routine and they observe for a while. It's usually not just randomly quickly in and out to grab somebody, typically. With that being said, I still would not recommend people, especially after this recent thing here. Now, this gentleman was very unwise in a lot of things. I'm not even going to get into it. Rike did a really good job on his channel explaining the whole situation and plus updates of what's going on. So you could fly in there, spend a little time with her and get out and just stay within the city. I still do not advise that, but some guys are hard-headed and that's what they will do. B, I think, is the best option. You either have them fly or take a bus or something to like Cagayan de Oro, Camigan Island, Davao City, and you can spend some time with them there in a safe environment. You don't have to worry about going into an area that you really shouldn't be in. 3, you could do a step further and even just get them off of the island of Mindanao. Some people do not even want to go to Mindanao, period. And again, understandable. If that's the case, you probably are going to have to buy them a ticket. There is a way to buy a ticket don't actually send them money. You get their information, their name, everything. You buy the ticket in their name, their date of birth, things like that. You get that information, you buy them the ticket, because then there would be no advantage for them for scamming you, because what are they going to do with a ticket other than go there? They can't really sell it or anything because it's in their name. Guys make a big mistake, I believe, when they just send the girl money and say, okay, here's the money, purchase a plane ticket. That I think is a mistake. If you really are sold on this girl and you are dead set about meeting her, purchase a ticket directly in her name. A bus ticket, I wouldn't worry so much about losing the money, 500, 1,000 pesos. It's what, $10, $20 at the most that you would lose if you send her bus money to take maybe from Zamboanga City to Cagayan de Oro. Those are your really three options. Again, I don't recommend going into those areas at all. I have been all over Mindanao, and there's some areas now that I look back at and I say to myself, you know what, I would no longer probably go there, especially after the recent happenings. I would continue to go to like Cagayan de Oro, for example. I want to take Maya to Cagayan de Oro. We want to do some whitewater rafting. Davao has a great festival in the summer, just one of the best festivals in the Philippines that I have seen so far, to be honest. And they also have whitewater rafting. Kidnapping Island. Maya just came back from Siargao. So there's a lot of places in Mindanao that I would still feel very safe going to. It's times where people are moving to these little cities and areas they shouldn't be, and they're residing there. You're just putting a target on your back. But if you want to reside in Davao, Cagayan de Oro, Kidnapping Island, something like that, I've never heard of anybody being kidnapped directly from the city. Now, there was an incident back in, I think, 2015 where they were on a boat heading to Samal Island in Davao and they were kidnapped. But directly within the city, no. And if you're on a major ferry, taking the ferry across from Davao to Samal Island, probably is safe as well. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions, but overwhelmingly, I get a lot of guys who tell me all the time, hey, I'm talking to this beautiful woman. She's down in the Zamboanga area. So a lot of guys seem to think that this is the most attractive women in the Philippines. And, when I was a single guy and on the dating sites, I did run into a lot of beautiful women in that area. And I think a lot of it is just because they have a more maybe pure Spanish blood, more of a Spanish mix, maybe less Asian, perhaps. I don't know. You guys can comment down below, but let me know your opinions. Again, beauty is subjective. What's beautiful for one person may not be beautiful for another person. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Check out my website for a lot more information, consultations, hotel list, shopping, all of that at geointhephilippines.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you everyone next time.